What's up? My name is Fantasy Cam, and we're going in the DMs with Mascarilla. I'm 22 years old. I just turned 22 like 3 days ago. From Hamburg, Pennsylvania, and I currently live in Kingston, Pennsylvania. Was a producer for a while, since like 2012-ish, and then last summer I started just singing on my own beats and putting out music through that. I mean, the blanket term is like emo trap. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I don't really take offense to it. I guess that's just like the easiest general thing to call it. But I would say it's just like alternative rap is like maybe like a better way to say it, because they say like everyone who's doing like guitar beats or singing on a rap beat is emo trap now, but everyone sounds so much different. Like I feel like you can't just call it that. I go to college in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. I'm originally from Hamburg, Pennsylvania, which is just like a small town of like 4,000 people. So I started going to Wilkes-Barre in high school for shows because there was like no shows around me. And basically after high school, I just knew I wanted to go up there because I had like made a solid friend group there. And I just wanted to be able to like be around these hardcore shows and just be around more people who are like down to make music and do bands and stuff. So right now I live in Kingston, which is just like a suburb of Wilkes-Barre. And I've lived there for a couple years. I'm about to be a super senior in college. I did 4 years, but I changed my major a couple times. Started doing communications, and I thought when I like signed up for it that it was gonna be more like learning how to like record music and like do stuff like that. But it actually was more just preparing you to be like a news anchor. And I realized that like halfway through, and I was like, I don't fucking want to do this. So changed my major to marketing, and now I'm doing that. But it set me back a lot. So I have to do one extra semester and then I'll be done. Yeah, so Wilkes-Barre is just like a city that's kind of right in between like Philly and New York City. So I think that kind of like helped shape it into becoming like its own music scene. But other than that, there's really no explanation for why, but it just has kind of become like a mecca for hardcore music. There's been tons of hardcore bands, like since the 90s, there's just been a great hardcore scene in Wilkes-Barre. And that's what made me like want to go there pretty much, is just like in high school, that was like the best place to go for shows other than Philly. Like you could go like to Philly for shows too, but Wilkes-Barre was closer to me. So yeah, it's just like always had a great like flourishing scene. Title Fight is probably the biggest one. Tiger's Jaw and the Menzingers are technically from Scranton, but Scranton and Wilkes-Barre are very close. Cold World, Bad Seed, Dead End Path, Stick Together. Those are probably like the biggest ones. Yeah, no, I think that's kind of true, because it's just like what the youth is more like drawn to now. Like hardcore has always just been about like, for better or worse, like it's like what the kids are doing. Like it started out as like a youthful expression, and kind of now this is like the same thing. Like there's more and more, like I would say like a lot of the kids at the shows for like our music and stuff is like super young, like 18 and below even, which is like very similar to hardcore. Like if you go to a hardcore show in Wilkes-Barre, it's like half the kids there are in high school and they just want to see a show. They just want to like express themselves. So I feel like it's like the same thing with this kind of music. How did you choose the name Fantasy Camp? So when I first started making beats, my first producer name was J Dimes Beats, which is a terrible fucking name. I was like 14 and I don't know, I think my friend just like gave it to me. So then when I started working with Wicca, I was sending him beats for like the first album we did together, and I would just name all the beats like crazy shit. And I don't know why, I just called one of the beats Fantasy Camp. And before it came out, I was like, that was one of the song titles, and I was just like, yo, can you just like change the song title and I'll just make that my producer name, because I thought it was tight. And so that's how I got it. It was just like a song title, and I thought it sounded cool. And I don't know, like the beats I was making at that time, or even still now, are just like kind of like cloudy, like fantasy sounding almost. So like, I guess it just kind of fitting. What do you use for vocal effects? Also, what program? I've been trying the past couple of days to make something. So for vocal effects and program, I only use Fruity Loops. I use Antares Auto-Tune, and then just a bunch of sound goodizers and equalizers, reverb, delay. Everything other than Antares is just within Fruity Loops. How was tour? I was the one in Chicago. Also, how did you meet Wicca? Tour was sick. First time ever doing anything like that. It was super fun. I met Wicca through the internet. I was like a big fan of Tiger's Jaw throughout high school. So I had been following like what he was doing. He put out probably one song, and he posted that he was looking for beats on Tumblr. So I just hit him up and started sending him beats. Top 5 hardcore bands. That's hard. I guess if you're gonna say top 5 hardcore bands, I mean, in general, there's so many. I'd say Turning Point is like my favorite hardcore band. Youth of Today, Cro-Mags, Bad Brains, and Madball. That's basically just New York hardcore, but those are my favorite. Do you have any advice for getting confidence to release your music? Yeah, just stop giving a fuck what anybody else thinks. And that is pretty much the only way to do it, because, you know, some people are gonna hate it even if it's fucking awesome. So you just gotta say fuck those people. Any plans to come to Europe, England? Not right now, but I'm down. Hit me up. What artist would you want to work with that isn't currently your friend or someone you know? I like Convolk. I would love to do some shit with Lil Tracy. There's so many. Why do your tattoos switch sides from leg to arm? That's not really calculated. I just kind of started tattooing my left leg first, and then I decided to go with my right arm. I do have one on my left arm, but yeah, that wasn't really a calculated decision. My question is, what producers are you currently working with? Right now I'm working with a bunch of different producers. My new shit that's about to drop is mainly produced by Taylor Morgan. I'm also working with Tax Purposes, NetArb, Fox Wedding, of course. And then I'm still producing some of my own shit, but looking to branch out. I've been talking to a couple other producers, so we'll see what's to come. Fox Wedding asks, who is the coolest goddamn producer around town? Fox Wedding is. Who are your inspirations for music? Just all the artists I listen to every day. Wicked Face, Zubin, just my friends who are like constantly putting out music. They like make me want to like work harder, do better, make better songs. How did you meet Wicca and Zubin? I already said how I met Wicca, but I met Zubin through Wicked Face. He showed me his music, and then we met. I think we just started talking online, honestly, and then we started making music, and then we met. He came to the first show I ever played in Wilkes-Barre, but we already like did some music together at that point. What was your favorite city to play on tour? Can't really pick one. Boston was sick. Chicago was really sick. Houston was great. I'd say those are like my 3 favorites. How long have you been making music? I started playing music when I was like 8 years old. my parents bought me a drum set and like took me to this like rock school thing, like some School of Rock, Jack Black type shit. So I learned how to play drums there, and then eventually like my grandfather taught me how to play guitar. So I started playing in a band when I was like 12 or something with like some high school kids. It's just some really terrible like metalcore shit. And then I don't know, so yeah, I guess I would say like since I was like 8. If you could make one song with anyone dead or alive, who would it be? I feel like this is a pretty obvious answer, like Peep. That would have been like the number one person I would have wanted to collab with. Top 5 favorite artists ever. Kanye. One of my favorite bands since like the earliest is like Bayside, so I'll include them. The Smiths, The Replacements. I don't know, that's too hard. But those 4 are like my favorites. How did the whole Misery Club thing happen? Our friend Matt wanted us to just record songs together, like us 4, because he's doing a label called Dark Medicine. So he wanted the second release to be like a 4-song EP with me, John, Wicca, and Zubin. So we like went and recorded those songs. We got like an Airbnb in the woods and just like recorded for a weekend. And then Zubin hit me up and he was just like, yo, I'm gonna start a thing called Misery Club. It's just gonna be my own little group thing. Like, do you wanna be a part of it? I was like, duh. So then he hit up everyone else and was like, yo, we should just like name the group this if you guys are down. And everyone was down because we didn't have a name for the songs and we wanted to release them. So that's basically how Misery Club started. We just recorded the songs and then had to figure out a name for it pretty much. And Zubin had already had this idea to like start a group. What do you think is your best song that you've ever made? Karma. What's your favorite song at the moment? Fuck, I didn't think about this one. Let me just look at my, I really like this Juice WRLD album that just came out, and the song Candles on it is what I've had that on repeat for a minute. Lil Randy asks, favorite bands growing up as a teenager. Shout out to Lil Randy. Like my first favorite band, like I said before, was Bayside. I simultaneously got into like that scene of music, like Bayside, Hawthorne Heights, and Silverstein at the same time as I was getting into like nu metal for some reason. Like my older sister, she's like a couple years older than me, so like that was like her shit, and she would show me bands like Slipknot and like Tool and stuff like that. So I got really into all that pretty much around the same time. I was like 10, and I started this YouTube channel where I was like just covering songs on guitar, and I would just put like the song title like played by 10-year-old. So I covered like literally like fucking like 30 Tool songs and like Bayside songs and Hawthorne Heights songs. Really weird mix, but so I mean, those were pretty much all my favorite bands growing up. Will you ever open an actual summer camp? Probably not, but I did work at a summer camp. It was tight. It was like a nature camp, and we would just go on hikes and shit, and it was cool. What are your top 3 most moshable rap tunes and your top 3 beverages from my boy Seba? Anything Waka Flocka is obviously super moshable. Chief Keef, don't like. I feel like you can mosh to that. And then I guess anything like Ghost Main and like Suicide Boys, like that shit is like very, like it's like heavy. So those are like moshable. Top 3 beverages, Miller Lite, Coca-Cola, and I don't know, just like a good ass smoothie, I guess. Ideal outfit, no money or rarity restrictions. My holy grail is the Cro-Mags Down But Not Out 89 t-shirt. I've yet to have enough money in my life to buy one of those, but basically that's it. I just want that shirt, and I don't know, probably just like a pair of like track pants or something. I don't really care about pants or like rare jeans that much. And shoes, I keep it pretty simple as well, just like some Air Forces or Air Max 98s. I really want the Gundam 98s. Who are your favorite producers? Clams Casino is like the big one that made me want to start making beats pretty much, or at least like influenced me to start making different kinds of beats. I obviously like love all the producers that I work with are like my favorite producers, like NetArb, Fox Wedding. They all make shit that make me like actually want to make beats still. Who pushed you into music more? Not really sure what that means, but I mean, I guess like my friends like just kind of pushed me to make music. Like I was doing it already, but I had no desire to release anything, and they were just kind of telling me like you should just go for it, and kind of say fuck what everyone else thinks, because I kind of knew like I was gonna get some hate, but they definitely pushed me into just being more confident about it and going for it. If you have one tip to give young artists, what are they? Record a lot of music and don't release most of it because that's kind of what I did. Like I probably recorded like 15 songs at first and then never released them, and then I quickly realized like I could do better songs than that. So I think like a lot of new artists are like really quick to want to just post stuff as soon as they make it. So I would say just like kind of sit on your songs for a minute before you post them. And then once that kind of like initial hype on a song has faded away, listen to it again and just be like, should I share this? That's like the best advice I have. And maybe just don't like message people like spamming your links. Try to build natural relationships with people, because that's the best way to get people to actually fuck with your music. How did you meet the rest of Misery Club? So I already went over Wicca and Zubin. I met John through doing this kind of music. Well, actually, that's not true. I met him at a Balance and Composure show a couple years ago. But after that, we weren't like super, it was just kind of like a brief meeting. And then after that, we started chilling more when we were like doing music. And I think the first time we like really hung out was at the Corinthiacs video shoot. And we've been fucking boys ever since. That was a really weird phrase. Maybe I'll say that again. We have been boys ever since. What motivates you the most in life? I don't know. I feel like there's no like way to answer this that isn't corny. But just like shit that makes me happy. Music, good food, good bevs. Who says fantasy camp in the intros of your song? That's my girlfriend Emily. Shout out to her. Saw a pic of you wearing an anti-Cymax shirt. It's dope to see people in the hip hop scene repping punk bands. Were you into rap or punk first? Rap. I think I was into rap first because that's kind of like the music my dad showed me. Even though like he was into punk as a kid, like I think he was just more into rap when I was like growing up. So he used to like just buy me like the early like Kanye CDs, like early Eminem stuff. And he would just show me like stuff that he thought was cool. So probably got into rap first and then punk like more towards like middle school. So my dad works in at Mack Trucks. It's like just like a factory, like building truck parts. And my mom works at like a cafe and a hair salon. She just makes like super healthy like food and drinks and like salad bowls and shit like that. Yeah. My mom like literally comments on every single Instagram post that I put up. But it's really funny because she comments from her salon's Instagram page. So it's not her name. It just looks like this random salon is like commenting on my photo like, you're so handsome. My dad's super supportive too. He'll like comment on some of my YouTube videos. He's not on social media, so he doesn't like see everything, but he's always like looking at my shit on YouTube. So he'll probably see this. What are your thoughts on a Misery Club lip tat? Do it. I support all Misery Club tattoos. Were you a Title Fight Tiger's Jaw fan? Yes, of course. Those were my favorite bands in high school. Still love them. Still go to see them whenever I can. Wawa or Sheetz? This is an important one. Sheetz, for sure. I love Wawa, but Sheetz has fried food, and I fuck with fried food. Sheetz, do you know what Wawa is?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sheetz is like the same idea. It's like a gas station that just has made to order food and tons of snack and bev selections. But Sheetz just has more options, better options in my opinion. You could get like fried mac and cheese bites, mozzarella sticks, whatever you want. So
Shots fired.
that's why I like Sheetz. But yeah, that's it.